everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori. If you're new here, if you're not new here, welcome back. A lot of you are probably here after watching my hormonal acne video, which I will link somewhere above if you haven't seen it already. And after I posted that video, I had a lot of questions about how I healed my hyperpigmentation, which is kind of the red marks that are left after having acne, especially hormonal acne that's very deep and aggressive. And so I thought I would finally sit down and make a full video sharing with you guys everything that I did to heal and fade my hyperpigmentation, because it was quite a struggle and I looked for every resource I could. One thing to note first is if you currently have acne and you are trying to heal it, I wouldn't start with the process of trying to heal the hyperpigmentation or scarring from it yet until you heal the actual acne, because fading the scars isn't going to do anything if you're still getting new ones. And some of these things might aggravate acne also. And so I didn't start this process until after I had healed the hormonal acne. So if that's something you're still struggling with, I will link it below. And just a disclaimer, it is a very long video. A lot of people complained about the fact that I shared so many things that didn't work and then were upset that it was stress that finally I figured out was the cause of my acne. But the reason that I shared all of the things that didn't work for me is because I spent hours researching the entire internet to find every possible cure for hormonal acne and then tried it. And so even though they didn't work for me and it was ultimately reducing my stress that healed my acne, stress might not be the cause for you. And one of those other things that I've spent hours researching might be the cure for you. So they're definitely worth trying if you haven't already tried. And it's really nice because I found each of these things from separate videos or separate blogs, and I just compiled them into one video. So it's a long video, but I recommend watching it through if you really are struggling to heal your hormonal acne. You can always put it on like the faster mode so that I talk a lot faster, because I also talk really slow in that video, and I apologize. But anyway, we are here today because of hyperpigmentation. So let's get started. So there were several things that I did to heal my hyperpigmentation, but I'm just gonna tell you now, there is no like magic overnight solution except maybe like laser that will heal your hyperpigmentation. It is a process. It's just a matter of how long that process takes. So the number one thing, and this is the number one thing because if you don't do it, none of the other things will work, is wearing sunscreen, which I didn't really like when I heard because that just didn't seem like an effective enough solution. But honestly, even if you start doing all the other things and they work, if you don't wear sunscreen, you're just gonna like undo all of the progress that you make, because as soon as you step into the sun, and even if it's not outside, even if you're inside and you're sitting in your chair reading, the sun is still hitting you and that will darken your hyperpigmentation. So I recommend wearing at least SPF 30. I wore SPF 50 and I will link all the products that I use down below. None of this is sponsored. I totally wish it was. But a lot of these things I did a lot of research on because I also have pretty acne prone skin. And I also like to get things that are vegan and cruelty free and more natural and a whole list of things. So anyway, I will link those products down below if you are interested. But yes, I used SPF 50 every single day. Even if I was staying home, maybe I'd wear 30, but still sunscreen every day, regardless of what you're doing. It's just like, it's essential. So the next thing that I did very consistently was using AHAs, which is a type of acid. What does it stand for? Alpha hydroxy acid. And the primary one that I used was glycolic acid. And this basically is an acid. And so it kind of just burns the top layer of your skin off, which sounds really scary and intense. And it kind of is intense. But if you use it in a more mild sort of percentage or ratio, the effects are much milder. But this was the key thing for me because it helps exfoliate your skin chemically. And so this sheds the old layers of skin and promotes new layers to grow or new skin cells to grow. So over time, this creates a more even complexion. The face wash that I used, I will link it down below. I believe it was between 8 and 12% glycolic acid. And this is important because you don't want to start definitely with one that is too high of a percentage because again, this is an acid. And so it takes your skin a little bit of time to get used to something. And the first time I used this, it burned like crazy and my skin was bright red. And I think it was bright red every time I'd wash it for the next, probably the first month of using it. I just want to emphasize that even though I'm sharing the product that I use below, any product that has these active ingredients, these AHAs, is going to be as effective. It just depends on like the percentage of the acid in it. So now I use the acne.org glycolic acid like cream, and this one, I don't know the exact percentage, it doesn't say it, but I can definitely tell that it's a much lower percentage than the one that I was using previously when I was really trying to get rid of that hyperpigmentation, because it doesn't burn the way the other one burned. So it might be a good idea to start with maybe a lower percentage one and work your way up. Now, I mostly used glycolic acid and a couple other AHAs, but there are also other types of acid that can do the same sort of chemical reaction on your skin. And these are azelaic acid, kojic acid, salicylic acid, and vitamin C. These are not ones that I use regularly or tried, but maybe you have products at home that already have these, or you can't find a product with AHAs and you want to try one of these. I don't have experience with them. I don't know if they work. I only tried the AHAs, but they are sort of in the same category as having the same impact on your skin. The other thing to note with these is that they are fairly strong, so they're not to use every single day unless it's a low percentage. The one that I'm listing below that I used most consistently, I would use maybe like 3 times a week. I would use it maybe every other night or so, or even every third night, depending on how sort of still sensitive my skin was. Because again, like you're burning your skin, so you do want to be careful and gentle so that you're not being too aggressive on your skin, because that can also lead to other bad things. The third thing that I did most consistently is aloe vera. This is best done if you get the fresh aloe vera plant and you just kind of like scrape the gooey insides out and just like wipe it on your face. But I know that it's really hard. I had trouble always having access to an aloe vera plant. Some markets sell them, others don't. And so I also bought an aloe vera gel that I kept in the refrigerator, and I would use that whenever I couldn't find the fresh plant. I recommend getting a plant if you have the space for it, because if you have your own plant, then you don't have to worry about the market having it or not. Make sure that if you are buying an aloe vera gel, that it is like 100% aloe vera, because a lot of like the supermarket or CVS aloe vera brands that you use maybe for like if you got sunburned aren't pure aloe vera, and they have a lot of other crap in them like alcohol and just like other stuff that will actually dry your skin out and just kind of do other weird things. So make sure it's 100%, if not very close to 100% aloe vera. I feel like I'm like throwing a lot at you and I need to just like calm down. My heart is also beating really fast, so sorry if I've been really fast. But aloe vera I found was great. It was super soothing, especially after using the AHAs or the acids, because aloe vera is just very hydrating for your skin. And I think the reason, I need to go back and do the research, but I think the reason aloe vera works for hyperpigmentation, so I just looked it up so that I wasn't saying anything false, but aloe vera contains a natural depigmenting compound that has been shown to lighten your skin. So one thing to also be mindful with a lot of these sort of like home remedies or treatments is that a lot of these things, the reason why they're working is because they are basically bleaching your skin a little bit, lightening it. And so I would just be cautious depending on your skin tone or how much melanin you have in your skin, because I have pretty fair skin, so maybe the bleaching effects weren't as extreme or as visible for me. But if you do have darker skin, I don't know how those would impact your skin color. So I would just maybe watch some videos or see if you can find someone who has a similar tone to you who has done these things, to make sure that you don't bleach your skin or create more damage. The other thing you should do with all of these things, whether it's aloe vera or a face wash or anything, is you should always sort of test a patch of your skin first to make sure that your skin doesn't have any kind of allergic reaction or weird intense reaction to these things, because yeah, before you wipe that all over your face, you want to know that it's not going to break you out in hives or make you red for 4 days. So anyway, yeah, I use aloe vera twice a day, every day, in the morning and before bed. And if I was home during the day too, I would also use it during the day. And this was just a great thing for not only lightening the hyperpigmentation, but I also noticed my skin just looked really glowy and hydrated all the time when I was doing this, which was really nice. The next home remedy I'm gonna share is not one that I did super consistently, so I cannot say that it for sure worked and it was the cure to my hyperpigmentation, because I did really do it inconsistently. And that is those potato masks. If you're sort of already looking on the internet for ways to heal your hyperpigmentation or acne scars, you've probably seen these potato masks, or turmeric masks. That's another big one, and I'll share a story about that. And these, again, they can be helpful. People claim that they were super helpful for them. I just didn't do it super consistently because I didn't see results after a week, and I did it sort of at the beginning of this process of trying to heal, where I thought that there was some magic solution that would fix me in a week, and there is no magic solution that will fix you in a week. I don't know if maybe I continued doing it for a month, if it would have sped up the process, but basically you just grate a potato or blend a potato and you use that sort of mushiness with all the juice. The juice is the important part, and you put it on the areas that you are trying to lighten. The other thing is a turmeric mask, and this is just using turmeric, and there are different recipes for this, some mixing it with like yogurt or honey. So I tried it with a vegan yogurt, and I basically dyed my face yellow, so I would just be careful with that. It took like 3 days, and I had to go to class, and my skin was yellow. So yeah, just be careful with that. If you do see those recipes online, proceed with caution. And finally, the last thing I'm going to talk about, which could be probably the most effective, but probably not in everybody's budget, is going to an esthetician and having a chemical peel or even laser, or even laser treatment done. This obviously I would have loved, but facials can be extremely expensive, and so I just didn't really have the money to go and get a chemical peel, and a lot of times these peels are the same ingredients as the stuff you're using at home, like glycolic acid, but just in much higher quantities or percentages. And so obviously the effects are just more extreme. So if that is an option for you financially, I would talk to your esthetician and maybe try a chemical peel or even laser. Sorry if the camera just moved. I totally just stopped recording like I was done with the video and didn't do an outro. But anyway, I hope you find these things helpful or useful. If you have tried any of these things or you end up trying them and they do or don't work for you, let us know down below. Just remember that patience is key. So maybe if you do these things for 2 weeks and you don't see immediate results, that doesn't mean that they don't work. It just means you need to give it more time. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, once again, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you in my next video. If there's any other specific skincare questions or things you want me to talk about, also let me know down there. Okay, bye, have a good day.